didn't know you were going to read that. I thought you might spice it up.
No. I had a busy weekend.
Anyways, Karen, thank you for getting me on the roster to speak here. This is very nice.
Well, her dancer's canceled, so she
I figured somebody canceled to get a trucker up here. In any event, I'm going to go through a little bit of trucking education, not only at Growmark, but some industry-wide things that are going on. And it's really kind of concerning what's ahead for transportation. There will be a short quiz afterwards. There will be prizes if anybody gets, so pay attention. So at Growmark, we've got a dispatch group. So we typically use third-party carriers. Kristen, I'm going to try to make this exciting. She's looking at me like trucking is boring. We have a dispatch group that deals with third-party carriers. We're 24 hours, 7 days a week. And they really are responsible for getting ammonia, LP, and fuel delivered on a daily basis. This is kind of the load counts that we have. It's nearly 140,000 loads a year that the transportation team delivers, mostly fuel, 60,000 loads a year, followed by LP or propane. We deliver a lot of anhydrous ammonia, and that's needless to say, that all happens in April and in November. And so we'll go from 25 loads to 100 loads to 800 loads. So this all builds within 3 days. We have to have trucks ready, willing and able to meet the capacity needs of our member owners. And it is a real challenge, particularly today with what's going on in trucking. This is a piece of equipment that our Manitou Transit. So also part of my deal is we have a trucking operation. Their world headquarters are in Morton, Illinois. And we've got about 130 trucks that deliver on these trailers. So the bottom one is a fuel trailer. The top one delivers ammonia and LP. Here's a picture of the world headquarters. It's in Morton, right off the interstate. So you go right by it if you're heading to Peoria. It used to be Star Transports. That facility was vacant for years, and Growmark purchased it a few years ago and then upgraded it. So we've got Manitou Transit's world headquarters there, and then we also operate a Growmark Tank and Truck Center. The Tank and Truck Center is one of 5 facilities that we have in Illinois and Iowa. This really repairs our trailing equipment. So those trailers you saw earlier, Growmark has about 500 pieces of trailing equipment, and this shop location is instrumental in making sure it's roadworthy every day to meet our customers' needs. The other piece, well, here's a picture. This is a great picture. So those bottles that I showed you, this is a picture of a technician. His name's Steve. He's climbing out of the bottle. So literally our technicians have to get inside the bottle in order to convert it from LP to ammonia. So I would say you've seen that program, Dirty Jobs. It's truly one of the dirtiest jobs ever. So I thought, well, I need to get in there and see what our guys are doing. And back in 2011, got in there, and literally when you're cleaning, you've got to get down with shop rags and clean ammonia out of there in order to get all that. If you smell ammonia, it's an awful smell. Well, you can't have ammonia in LP. So it's a filthy job. So that's one of the things our guys do at our 5 shop locations. The other piece that we do is we manufacture, on the bottom is a fuel, a trailer for fuel. They call it a tank wagon, and above is a bobtail that hauls LP. So they'll take product to the farm gate or commercial accounts typically. But we manufacture and assemble those. One of the challenges we have today is we can't get equipment. So in order for us to get the chassis, it's about a year to 18 months that we have to wait. So our shops aren't nearly as busy as they should be because we can't get the equipment. Some parts we can't get. So again, chassis are out, meters, same thing. In order for us to do some repairs for customers, we can't get meters. So the supply chain thing is real. Trucking's part of it, but it's not the whole piece of it.
So, sorry to interrupt, but pre-COVID, 3 years ago, what was the comparable wait for these guys?
We could get a truck in 3 months. So, you know, it was all about, we would go out to our member owners and say, how many trucks you can order for next year? We get a list. And now we do the same thing, but it's a year to 18 months. So it's a real challenge. And again, it's a double-edged sword, right? We can't serve the member. And additionally, our shops aren't nearly as busy. And our technicians are all what they call registered inspectors. So in order to become a registered inspector, it takes 3 years. So we don't want to go lay these guys off because we'll likely never get them back, and then we have to start over. Some of the other challenges is the technician shortage. Some of our shop operations are looking for technicians. Not a lot of people want to get inside those bottles and do the kind of work that I showed earlier. This is a safety bottle, and again, so people don't have to get inside. It allows for training purposes for people to get inside and see all the pumps and valves that are in the inner workings. So we've invested in that at Growmark. This is an older picture. The new bottle looks much nicer, but again, when it comes to safety, that's our first and foremost, because what we're hauling is ultra hazardous. If you're familiar with ammonia, you know, if you get it in your eyes, you go blind. If you get it on your body, it will burn. It's an awful thing. And again, so it's all about safety. A lot of federal requirements. So manuals are this thick. We're audited periodically, so we have to make sure the paperwork's complete, our I's are dotted, and T's crossed. I'm going to show you a video here, I think, next. If I can make this work. So this is one of our Manitou tractors. Upper left is the one to watch. You're going to see a car cross the center line, flip the back of our axles of the unit. So we've got out-facing cameras now on all our tractors at Manitou, and it protects us because again, that would be a he said, she said accident, and probably you know, would be a wash. So we're working with the insurance company, the guy that hit our truck, because that trailer is in the shop right now. It's about $50,000 worth of damage. That trailer new is about $110,000. So again, part of the safety thing I mentioned earlier is we have out-facing cameras. Another option in the industry is in-facing cameras. And at this stage, we've chosen not to get it. We think our drivers feel that it's invasive, and we're concerned with driver turnover and retention. Along safety lines, there are 7 basics. So this is called CSA Compliance, Safety, Accountability. And there are 7 basic things that trucking companies like Manitou Transit are measured on: unsafe driving, crash indicator, hours of service, vehicle maintenance, controlled substance and alcohol, hazardous material compliance, and driver fitness. The Manitou safety scores are really leaders in the industry. You're measured against other carriers the same size. So we go about 6 million miles. So we're measured against other carriers that go 6 million miles. And so again, we've got a good reputation in the marketplace, and we intend to keep it that way by making safety. We send regular messages to our drivers about safe working and safe driving. Some of the things that are going on, bless you, some of the things that are going on in the industry, probably the biggest thing is the driver shortage. Right now, you'll see we're about 80,000 drivers short in the industry. Nobody wants to do this work. Again, I'll speak to some new employees at Growmark from time to time and ask, hey, do you want to make $100,000 a year? Most of them raise their hand. And then when you tell them, well, you may have to work 6 days a week, you could work up to 70 hours in a week, their hands go down, and they're really not interested in the kind of work. So the industry has to build a better mousetrap in order to attract and retain new workers. But currently 80,000, and they project by 2030 to be upwards of 150. So when you think about things being stuck somewhere on a ship, if we get to that 150,000, there'll be things that aren't on the shelves that we take for granted. And I'll oftentimes say what we do is taken for granted every day until something's not there. Chris knows if we don't get a load of ammonia where it needs to be, it's a big deal. And so again, we need drivers to do the work. Other things are retention. How do we keep drivers? Wages are going up like crazy. It's very, inflation is here, and I believe it's going to get worse. We're seeing carriers raise wages twice a year now. It used to be maybe once a year, but now it's several times a year, and we believe that's going to continue. Other challenges that we have is nuclear verdicts. So that accident you saw, nobody was hurt, thankfully. But if there would have been an issue with that accident, they're going to chase the money. They'll chase Growmark, they'll chase Manitou. And once again, the good news is we had the out-facing camera to see him cross the center line and hit our equipment. Availability. Some small motor carriers can't get insurance today, or insurance renewals are so high they can't afford it. So we're seeing companies transition out of the industry. One of the other things I'll mention is detention and driver distraction. People going down the road, I mean, you guys see it on the highways, people looking at their phones. Imagine being a truck driver on the road 11 hours a day driving, and people are in and out of lanes because they're distracted looking at their phones. Another reason why people don't want to, so please stay off your phone when you're driving. I get scolded on a regular basis if I just pick it up. So, and the other piece is detention. So this is a picture, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a loading line. So these trucks are going to pick up ammonia at a source location. Here's another one. So these guys may be in line for up to 6 hours to get one load of ammonia. And so again, from a driver point of view, these guys want to drive down the road and they want to keep her moving, so to speak. These are challenges that we run into when we get up to that 600, 700, 800 loads per day of ammonia and you can't get anything done. And when you have a member that says, where's my ammonia? And you say, well, 6 hour lines. Well, you need more trucks. We put more trucks on it, now we have an 8 hour line, because most of those trucks are to support Growmark and our specific needs at Growmark. So the industry has got its fair share of challenges. Every year in September, there's a Truck Driver Appreciation Week. So I always say thank a trucker. We should thank a trucker every day, because what happens in the grocery store and all the things that we take for granted, a truck brought it. So again, my wife thinks I'm joking around about it, but it is, it's not quite as important as specs around town, but it's pretty darn good. I can handle it. Exactly right. I could get into all that, but anyway, are there any questions that I can answer?
Autonomous vehicles, I mean, that's what's going to save this. I don't know if we'll ever see it in our lifetime, but it seems like that was made for this.
Yeah.
Not necessarily us driving the rotary, but
Yeah, I think it's there. I think if we're going to be hauling beer from Denver to the coast, that may happen in our lifetime. But hauling hazardous material and ultra hazardous material, how does that get done? So there's a lot of questions about it, but I will tell you, Growmark is proactively meeting with industry leaders in insurance, because the insurance business is, how does this get covered? Who's responsible? So it's coming, but I think it's going to be a slower process. Any other questions? So, Julie?
I just want to say, I really learned a lot. Usually at home at night, I don't say, what did you do today? He said, I went to work and had meetings.
So, maybe no.
I learned a lot.
Yes.
Do you do your own training of your technicians, or what kind of training do they come to?
Yeah, typically we'll take technicians that have some experience, but oftentimes we'll take somebody that has a maintenance aptitude, and so we'll train them from the ground floor. So we have a structured training program, and as I said earlier, it takes 3 years to become a registered inspector. So every year, not only do they get a merit increase, they also get an increase for getting to that next level because there is some testing that goes with it. Yes,
Everyone here may know, but I have no idea. What's the ammonia used for?
the ammonia is used as a fertilizer, and it's knifed into the ground, and it's very important in growing corn. And ammonia is the cheapest form of that nitrogen, so that's why it's real popular with farmers. There's other nitrogen options. Kevin knows way more about it than I do, but that's what it's used for. Yes.
So are the, for the driving, the truckers, like, are they working 12-hour days? Are they, I mean, is there a law on how long they can go?
Yeah, so a driver can drive 11 hours. They can work up to 14 hours per day or 70 hours per week. So at Manitoba Transit, I would tell you most of our drivers are working 60+ hours a week. We probably have 10 or 12 drivers that are making over $100,000 a year. And you say that's a lot of money, but these guys are working 60+ hours a week to earn that. So it is a hard job. So like,
When someone's sitting in a line for 6 hours, does that count as drive time?
no, that's not driving. That's non-driving time, but you're still working. So you're on duty. Now, what's interesting about ammonia is you asked about hours. There's an agricultural exemption. So year round, if you're hauling stuff that supports farming, there are no hours of service. So a driver could work 20, 22 hours a day, and some do while hauling ammonia. So in that line, they may be sleeping. They may take a 3-hour nap or whatever in order to do that. So when you're hauling fuel and LP, typically there's hours of service rules, but when you're hauling ammonia, there are no rules, which seems to be unsafe, doesn't it? So how many loads of fuel does Growmark, excuse me, how many loads does Growmark move a year? I mentioned it earlier on in 140,000.
Front row kids are all.
Oh, you're right, Jim. I was rooting for you. And I talked about CSA and the basic scores. How many categories were there? Were 7. Right. She blurted it
Are
out.
they glasses?
No.
Are they specs?
Well, no. If there's a button or you need a button, Julie doesn't like the buttons laying around the house. They're in the medicine cabinet, they're on the counter, they're everywhere. Because I wear them every day. So grab a button. Thank you for having me and have a great day.